Good morning. The first item is public comment, and it looks to me that if this is everybody here is affiliated with the Turnpike and Bridge Authority, so we don't have any public comment. The first action item is approval of the minutes of our most recent meeting, which was February 3rd, 2021. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Are you going to abstain from the vote?
Yeah, I didn't wait for the vote.
That's okay. Yeah, I know you want.
You know what? It's been years since I could do that. I remember never abstaining.
All those in favor of the motion to approve the minutes, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The vote carries 4-0 with our vice chair abstaining because she was not at that meeting. The next item for approval is approval of the legal bill for Pannoni Lopes, Devereaux, and O'Gara. This is for February of 2021. The dollar figure is $39,330.38. You'll note the packet says that it includes $27,032.33 related to e-discovery for some litigation that we have. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second, but I do have its discussion.
Absolutely. So there's motion and a second. Director Morse.
Can you please explain this e-discovery management issue we got here? What is that?
Yes, e-discovery is management of discovery, interrogatories, requests for production, management of documents produced in the pre-trial stages of litigation. But actually, Director Morse, you've asked a great question, because even though part of the amount that's on the agenda is for e-discovery, a good portion of that amount that appears in parentheses is also for expert witness fees. So that would be something maybe at a later date we'd discuss in executive session.
Do we have a breakdown on any of that cost?
We do. Okay. But again, I'm happy to put it on the agenda for another month, and we could discuss. It might be a good time to discuss the litigation.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Even for even for an update, no matter what, perhaps we should set up an executive session in Zoom. That'll be an adventure. Any other questions? Any other discussion? All those in favor of the Pannoni Lopes, Devereaux, and O'Gara bill, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The next item relates to a recommendation to qualify Government Strategies, Inc. and Athena Solutions Group, LLC, related to government affairs and everything that would entail lobbying and everything else. Let's have a motion and then an explanation from the executive director. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Motion.
There's a motion and a second.
Second.
And so we're clear, this is we're approving a not to exceed figure of $7,000 per month. Again, not to exceed doesn't mean that we have to spend that $7,000 every month. Ms. Karen Silvera?
Yes. So many issues that come before the General Assembly and come before Congress, and even at a municipal level, tangentially affect the Rhode Island Turnpike and Bridge Authority. Sometimes we don't even realize when a bill is submitted that it may touch upon some issue that affects one of the industries that we have under the roof here. And I think you've all heard me say before, we have several industries under this roof, each of which is multifaceted. We have the tolling industry, which is extremely complicated. We have bridge engineering, maintenance, and construction. Again, many facets to that, whether it's developments in new materials being used like composites, or whether it's regulation of both of those industries. Then there is public finance. There's legislation both at the state and the federal level that will affect public finance. For all of those industries in which we are operating, we really need someone who is keeping their finger on the pulse of what's happening at municipal, state, and federal levels. We put out an RFP for that reason, because we realized that it's so multifaceted that we needed someone to represent the interests of the Turnpike and Bridge Authority. We received 2 timely responses to the RFP. They were Government Strategies, which is Joe Walsh and Gail Wolf and Bill Walsh. And then also from the Athena Solutions Group, George Zania, Jerry Visconti, Chris Fragamini, Ed Parry III. Both firms submitted. There was a disparity between the amounts that they bid. We discussed that, and since we didn't have a third, we looked very carefully at them. We reached out to Government Strategies. We managed to negotiate a lower amount for Government Strategies. What we would like to do, we feel that both firms are unquestionably very well qualified. They need no introduction to this board or to any other board or anyone else in the state of Rhode Island. They're very professional. They're very effective, very experienced. Each of them has their strengths. So what we would like to do is qualify both firms and then enter into arrangements with them as needed, perhaps dividing the work by federal and state, perhaps dividing it by not only federal and state, but by industry, the tolling industry, bills affecting the tolling industry versus bills affecting construction, engineering, maintenance, roads and bridges. So for that reason, we have asked that this board authorize us to qualify or authorize the qualification of the two firms, and we would enter into task orders with them as needed for fees not to exceed $7,000 per month.
Any questions for the executive director?
Lori,
Yes,
other,
yes, I do.
Well, Judy, go ahead, Judy.
okay, do other quasi-state agencies have this type of an arrangement?
They do, Director, and I think at this point we may be the only major quasi-public entity that does not have representation of our interests at the state and federal and municipal levels. RIAC, so Airport Corporation, the Rhode Island Public Transit Authority, Newport Bay, Narragansett Bay Commission, many others. In addition to that, many of the state agencies have in-house governmental lobbyists. They're also governed by the lobbying statutes in Rhode Island, but they are, they're on staff, they're paid a salary, an annual salary. So we feel that this is actually a better way to go.
Director Alviti?
Yes, $84,000 is your total budget for the year for this item?
Yes, Director.
For both companies combined or for each company? Which?
No, for both companies
Okay.
combined.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The next item relates to an agreement between the Turnpike and Bridge Authority and the Rhode Island DOT. Let's just have a motion to agree to approve the agreement, and then we'll have Mr. Seabury describe what it is.
I'll move.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Mr. Seabury.
Sure, thank you. This agreement covers 3 dynamic message signs that will be installed as part of the Rhode Island Department of Transportation Pell Bridge ramp project on the Newport side of the bridge. So that project is scheduled to begin in the summer. It reconfigures all of the current entryways to downtown Newport and over to Connell Highway. And originally the proposed plan over there was to install 5 dynamic message signs, and RIDOT had asked us if we would take the signs over and manage them and maintain them. And Federal Highway requires this agreement to be in place prior to them funding these signs. We took a look at the plan and basically removed 2 signs with the agreement of RIDOT that do not serve the Turnpike and Bridge Authority directly. The 3 remaining signs would serve us directly because they would be in positions where we could, in times of high winds and inclement weather and any other incident on the bridge, we could put up warning signs for restrictions on the bridge or closures, which would allow trucks and other vehicles to find other means of getting around before they get trapped in the entryway to the bridge and they're not able to reverse their direction. So that was our impetus to say, yes, we could take these 3 signs over. DOT ultimately removed the other 2. And the cost of the signs, we did some looking into our current signs that we have, and actually one of our interns looked into a study that was done by some university students, and they came up with, for the first 5 years, a cost of about $5,000 to maintain the signs. And that's a warranty on the signs that would be in place. So certain issues that might come up would be covered anyways. Beyond 5 years, we're looking at no more than $10,000 for all 3 signs to maintain.
Any questions of Mr. Seabury?
That's usually me.
Yeah, go ahead.
How much do the signs cost in general? I mean, we're not paying the cost of the signs, just the maintenance of the signs? Is that
We are
correct?
not, that's correct. So they're being funded by the project through DOT. So,
Okay,
80% covered by Federal Highway, which is why Federal Highway requires the agreement to be in place. They want to ensure that the federal funds that are spent on the infrastructure are protected with a maintenance agreement. So that's the whole purpose of this is so that they can be assured that once they're installed, they're not just left there and nobody's doing anything with them.
that makes sense.
These signs, I will add, will also be incorporated into our ATMS system here and controlled by us as far as the messaging and all of the electronic control of the signs. DOT would certainly have access to them and can request that things be, put on the signs at times. But that was a part of our request, is that we have, if we're going to maintain them, that we also control the messaging on the signs. That way there's no, question as to who has that control.
Any other questions? All those in favor of the agreement, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The last item for action is a change order. Someone has music or something going on in their background. If you could shut that or mute, that would be great.
Music?
I don't know what it was.
Not hearing it here.
No, you're not? Okay. So this is a change order. It's an addition of $456,656.17 to the current contract value. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. The new dollar amount for the contract is $19,784,296.17. And this is all related to the bridge deck repair on the Pell Bridge. But Eric, fill in as we make the motion. Who is this contract with?
This change order is for the contract with Aetna Bridge Company.
Aetna Bridge. Okay. So we need a motion to approve the change order with Aetna Bridge. Is there a motion?
I'll move.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Everybody's muted.
Everybody's muted. If we can just,
But you and me.
we need to unmute Director Alviti, Director Cruz, and Director Waldron down in the 573 phone number. Great. We have a motion and a second. I just want to make sure if we can, Remy, are you doing the muting? If you can take care of the 573 number, we need to make sure, we need to unmute that number, please.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to make any, we can't make any moves until, there it is. Great. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Director Alviti.
What is the amount of the change order on this?
$456,656.17.
Okay, and what, for total change orders to date, how far along is the project, about percentage?
The project is almost complete. The only thing remaining on this project is for the contractor to come back out and do the profile grinding of the concrete and the sealant on the concrete. This change order, if I could just throw a little detail on what it is. In the beginning of the project, we had purchased a bunch of that Lindsay movable barrier, the concrete barrier. we were responsible to pay for the transportation of the barrier over to this project, and it had to come from their laydown yard in Connecticut. So we had asked for a price from Etna Bridge Company and that price was included in this project. It was never incorporated into a change order. It was at the beginning of the project, so they just, you know, they put it into a miscellaneous item. But as part of this change order now, this transportation cost was included. It included an increase in the size of some of the lane control indicators. And then there were two ultra high performance concrete overlay trial areas that were performed using two different materials. And those costs are in here in this change order. And then it was really just, you know, there were some miscellaneous repairs that either the quantities increased or were added while they were out there and discovered additional areas that needed repair. So this is the final change order to this project. We don't anticipate anything else to come up based on the work that's remaining on this project. And the total, including the original change order 1 and this change order, increases the total contract by a 4.2%.
4.2?
Yes.
So it's still, the project itself is still under budget or on budget?
It's 4.2% above with this total from the original contract. But yes, this would be it.
It's in your budget for the project?
Yes.
Okay.
So was this estimated, or do we have the funds to cover this? Almost $500,000? $500,000?
We have the funds to cover this.
Okay, so the
Yes.
bonds will cover it, Lori?
Yes, they will.
Okay.
Any other questions? All those in favor of the motion to approve the change order, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The next item is the Director of Engineering's report. I know that you've given a lot of updates already, Mr. Seabury, so if you want to give us a quick rundown, and I know you provided something in advance. If there are any questions from the board, we can certainly entertain those.
Sure, I'll give you a.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry to interrupt. I got to sign off because I got to click into this doctor's office.
Good luck with that, Dr. Darrell. Keep that face beautiful.
Yep. Okay, yeah, thanks, guys. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye-bye.
So we'll just have
Aye.
the minutes, we'll have the minutes reflect that at 8:50, Director Waldron left the meeting. Go ahead, Eric.
Okay, thank you. I'll just run down real quick some of the changes since the last time, because all the information is in the packet. On the bridge electrical and communications upgrades for Pell and Mount Hope, which is fiber across the bridges, we're just finishing some fiber terminations and certifying the fiber ends. Related to that, further down the list is the ATMS Bridge Safety and Video Analytics piece of this project, and this is the installation of the cameras and the speakers and associated equipment. We are finalizing the actual install of the components on that project. So the two projects are working in conjunction with each other. Bridge inspections, we've scheduled the inspection of Jamestown Bridge to start. That will take a couple of months once they get out there. The Jamestown Bridge guardrail and railing painting project, we've actually started prep work because we've had some really nice weather, and our painters have been able to do a couple of hours a day, except where it's raining, where they're starting to prep the railing for that work. And Mount Hope and Secundit miscellaneous steel repairs, we've got the contractor out doing some field measurements so they can get components for this project on order. So when the weather changes, they can hit the ground running. Miscellaneous and on-call repairs to Pell and Jamestown bridges. They continue to do pier column repairs. This is concrete repairs to the pier columns at the tidal line, where they've basically removed bad concrete and cast new concrete jackets around it. And we're getting prepared to do the fiber reinforced polymer repairs to pre-stressed concrete beams, which is one of the final components of this project as well. And that's it, unless anyone has any questions.
I have a question for you, actually, Eric.
Sure.
On the and this is a very basic question. When they've done the good work on the deck replacement, when you're heading west on the Newport Bridge, it's kind of confusing the way the lines are. They're kind of like the old lines for when we were in the middle of the project, and then I think new lines. Will one of those wear away, or we're going to put something in permanent there? It's a little dicey.
Yeah, we'll be. I took a look at that actually. We had someone also make a comment on that. We're gonna talk with Aetna, when they go out to do the rest of the work, we will most likely be water blasting instead of doing additional grinding on it. I think we'll probably look at water blasting since it's all new concrete, it should be fine. We'll water blast off and we'll make sure that the final line, once they are able to stripe over the new area that to be ground, will all match and it'll be in the proper location. Those were due to during one of the construction phases, the barrier was in one of the places where they had to shift the line a couple feet.
I remember.
I think what happened on that was when they painted the temporary lines, they were fresh. So nobody had an issue, but they've now worn down to the point where they're almost matching the old line, the ghosting of the old line. So they show up almost the same.
Any questions for Mr. Seabury? Great, thank you, Eric. Jeff Goulart, we have a CFO report.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. This month I have added a summary financial report for your review, which I plan to incorporate into all future financial presentations. The authority's year-to-date revenue is higher than budget by 12%, or approximately 1.8 million, primarily due to the conservative approach in budgeting, as it was unknown what the impact of COVID would be. Year-to-date revenue is lower than prior year by 18%, or approximately $4 million, also as a result of the impact of COVID. With respect to personnel costs, year-to-date personnel costs, including wages, taxes, and benefits, are lower than budget by 24%, or approximately 800,000, primarily due to open positions, reduced staff costs in the customer service center, elimination of the third shift, and lower healthcare costs. Year-to-date personnel costs are also lower than prior year by 21%, or approximately 666,000, due to open positions, the elimination of the third shift, and reduced staff in the customer service center. Year-to-date operating expenses before interest, depreciation, and amortization is lower than budget by 22%, or approximately $1.5 million, primarily due to the timing related to the bridge inspections, lower ETC transponder, toll equipment expenses, lower legal audit professional fees, and an overall reduction in discretionary spending. Year-to-date operating expenses are lower than prior year by 13%, or approximately 731,000, in virtually every expense category listed in the detailed profit and loss statement. Thank you, and I'd be happy to take any questions you may have.
Great. Any questions for Mr. Goulart? Judy?
It's me again.
I know. We missed you last month.
I have to keep these meetings going. You know, I love seeing you all. Now, I just have a question as of the fact that this is a report as of December 31st of 2020. And, you know, as you know, we are in the beginning of March. So I was wondering, could we get something a little more updated, like by the end of January when we have, I mean, it seems like it's just too far back. You know, I would like to see a more recent financial statement, maybe 1 month. I know it's too early to do February because we're in the first week of March, but we should have something for January. I'm very astute to the fact that when you're doing numbers and you're looking at financial information, accuracy and current information is important. And I think back in December, it's like, okay, this is all good, but can we get something more updated?
We can certainly look at it. I think some of it is the timing of the board meetings and when the packages go out, really puts that compressed period to give us time to go through our accounts and do the reconciliations.
Perhaps, you know, maybe the thing to do would be, even if something is just sent out to the board, you know, it doesn't have to be necessarily for the meeting, but just to have fresher numbers is what Judy's saying. So it doesn't necessarily have to be part of your report. You're going to have what you have that's locked in and has been analyzed, but perhaps we can look at something that's fresher that gets sent out to the board, distributed, just so everybody has an idea. Does that make sense to you, Judy?
Yes, that does. Because it's, you know, it's 2 months old. You know, and I'm like, okay, that's good 2 months ago, but where are we today? You know, it's that sort of thing that I'm looking at.
Okay.
So,
absolutely.
as much of that as you could do would be very helpful. I'd appreciate it.
Any other questions for Mr. Goulart? Great. The Executive Director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Director Morse, that's a great segue into my section, because we actually, while the revenue numbers lag a bit in preparation for the meetings, we do have, we can provide you with some up-to-date traffic numbers, which are a good indicator of where revenue is too. The traffic counts year to date, fiscal year, so July 1 to date, they're down approximately 24%. We really hit our peak rebound from COVID in August and September. September, we were at 80% year over year, which was great. We expect to see that again very soon. The sun is shining. The winter, we're hoping, is ending. So, so for December, as I said, 24% down in fiscal year. December was 27% down, as opposed with, as I said, September, we were at only 20% down, and we had 80% of our revenue. Interesting to lead into the next discussion, the mix of customers paying electronically versus cash continues to be approximately 89% electronic to 11% cash. January traffic, since you were asking about January, February, January traffic was down 25%. February was down 28%. But February, when you exclude all the storms that certainly impacted traffic here, then traffic on all of the other days, the non-storm days, was down about 25%. So we're hoping that better days are ahead. All the indications are that better days are ahead, and that we'll be seeing a return to our pre-COVID numbers. So that brings us to the cashless, or all electronic, as we would prefer to say, all electronic pilot program that we've been running. We started it on the 14th of February. It was a great time in February to set up a configuration that we looked at and made absolutely certain was a safe configuration to direct all of our traffic through the ORT lane and also through one lane in the plaza, both of which are either billed by transponder or they're billed by mail. So the traffic adapted very well. There have been no surprises. We have begun to study the data, no surprises. And we're continuing, as we had the opportunity to start to develop the data immediately in the middle of February. Now, as the weather is improving and traffic will pick up a bit, we'll have an even better opportunity to take a look at the back office data and see what this means for our plaza operations.
Any questions for the executive director? Great. I want to take this opportunity. Nope, that's my dog telling us we need to get off the meeting. But I just want to say thank you very much to Director Cruz, who it seems like may not be on our board likely by hopefully you won't be on our board by the next meeting. So David, thank you for your service.
Congratulations, David.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure working with all of you, and it's been a big insight into an area I wasn't aware of before. So thank you.
Thank you so much for your work on this.
We appreciate your service. Anything else?
What do you say, Peter?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been great working with you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I hope not to see you again.
Ah, no, Dave, it's
Love
been
it.
really
I'm
wonderful.
kidding. I'm
Do
kidding.
we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move. Good luck, Dave.
Thank you.
There's a motion and a second. All of those in favor of the motion to adjourn, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The meeting adjourns at 9:01. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah.